In this lesson, we're going to learn all about cars. By the end of this, you should be able to make good decisions when buying a car. You should know something about the true cost of ownership for a car, and you should understand the importance of car maintenance and insurance. So first of all, I want you to understand cars are very expensive. They're not an investment. They are expensive, and the sticker shock for a lot of people is surprising when they realize that this is the biggest purchase you'll make, probably next to buying a house in your lifetime. For most Americans, that's what this will be. They lose value very quickly, but they also have hidden costs that a lot of people forget about. In other words, you've got to pay to maintain the car. You've got to pay to park it, especially if you live in a big city. This is a big expense for people coming from the suburbs. Of course, you've got to insure it because you don't want to lose it or have to buy a new one if it gets stolen or crashed. And of course, putting fuel into it is another cost. Increased costs in registration also add to the cost of a car. So at the end of all that, you can't really sell them for anywhere near what you paid for it. So they are an expense and they are very expensive. So keep that in mind. The actual total cost of owning a car, well, one common study showed that looking at the most common 5 cars owned by young Americans, the average cost over 5 years was actually $30,000. Divide by 5, you get almost $6,000 a year. Divide that number by 12, you get almost $500 per month for the 5 years that you're going to keep that car. So the question you got to ask yourself is, can you spare almost $500 every month for owning and maintaining a new car? They're very expensive. A lot of people are choosing not to own cars, okay, especially younger generations. A lot of them are using their smartphones to keep in touch with people and to communicate with people and even to access the internet and do work. So you don't have to travel. Therefore, you don't need a car. Some people are using Zipcar, where you just borrow a car when you need one, pay for it, but you rent one basically. And a lot of millennials, that's the younger generation, they aren't buying cars or houses. And what does this mean for the economy? It has big implications. In big cities, you might see some of these cars with that purple mustache. This is called Lyft. That's a hire a car service just to take you from point A to point B. Sidecar does the same thing. Uber is another service. These are alternatives to the traditional taxi cab, and this is what a lot of young people are doing now. They're not even owning cars, especially because parking and storing a car in a big city is very expensive. Not so much in the suburbs, but they are still expensive no matter where you live. So something to consider before you even bother buying a car. If you do choose to buy a car, where are you going to start? Well, I think the first question is, are you going to get a new car or a used car? You've got to do some research about what cars are most reliable. You got to find out about their repair history. Definitely look at the mileage of the car if it's a used car, and definitely know something about the resale value in case you want to sell the car 3 or 5 years down the road. There's pros and cons to each of these. If you want the new car, you get a warranty in almost every case, and then you're protected by a lemon law. A lemon is a car that has so many problems, it's considered to be a lemon. And there's legislation to protect you against that if a new car has numerous problems. New cars tend to be more reliable. They tend to have the newest features, of course. They do come with a high price. That would be one of the negatives. They do depreciate immediately once you drive it off the lot. That's not a myth, that's true. So new cars are cool for a lot of reasons, but they do lose value almost immediately after you purchase it. It's no longer new. You're the first owner. Used cars, primary advantage is you have a lower price. They can still be certified, and a lot of dealers do certify these cars and guarantee certain maintenance records and certain guarantees about the fidelity of the car. They do tend to have higher maintenance costs, but you can definitely save a lot of money by buying used cars, especially if you're younger and you're early in your career. So things to consider when you're choosing new or used. 3 major steps when you purchase a car here. You've got to establish what your needs are. You know, do you need a 2-door? Do you need a 4-door? Do you need an SUV? Are you going to be carrying people, or are you going to need just driving yourself and just want a car that gets great mileage? You've got to do your research and find out what the history of each car is, and you've got to find out about how the car's reliability records rate compared to others. You also want to know about mileage. Just because it says these numbers on a sticker does not mean that's what you're going to experience. Okay? When acquiring the car, are you going to buy it or are you going to lease it? That's basically like renting the car long term. And so you want to find out how you're going to pay for that car. Are you going to pay cash up front and own the car outright, or are you going to put some money down as a down payment and actually take out a loan on the car, kind of like you do for a house? But these are all decisions we're going to get to in the next lesson here. Right now, I just want to talk about establishing your needs. First of all, This is a personal finance class, and we're not here to focus solely on cars. We want to make sure you manage your funds wisely. Therefore, what can you afford? Are you paying for it? Or are your parents paying for it? Or is it going to be a combination? Are your parents going to loan you the down payment and you pay them back? You've got to figure these things out. A lot of young people do have their parents help them out, either by co-signing on a loan or by coming up with a down payment and then you pay them back. If you had to come up with a down payment or all the cash for the car on your own, you got to figure out how much can you save up. So a couple calculations. If you worked 50 weeks a year, that's a lot of work. That's every week except 2. If you work 10 hours per week and made $8 an hour, your total gross earnings are $4,000. That's if you could save all of that. If you saved 100%, you could get $4,000 in a year working 10 hours a week at $8 an hour. If you work 20 hours a week, obviously it's double that number. You can maybe save up 8,000. These numbers are optimistic, remember, because you're probably not going to save 100% of it. But this is the most you could save. If you were to make $12 an hour, a little bit more money, and you work 10 hours a week all year, you could get up to $6,000 a year. That's a chunk of change. That will help you buy a car. But again, consider other options. Maybe your parents can help you out. Maybe you got a graduation gift, or you got something from grandma and grandpa that can help you pay for that car. But either way, you've got to come up with a down payment or all of the cash outright to buy the car. All right. When you do your research, a couple good sites to look at are JD Power and Associates. They are very thorough and they have easy to use online tools. They'll tell you all about cars, and they should not be biased towards any one car maker or another. In fact, you can do a Google search and find out the most reliable 3-year-old cars if you want to buy a used car. Edmunds.com is another great car site. They give you a step-by-step guideline on how to buy a used car, things to look out for, where to go, where to shop, and tips on how to protect yourself, because some people are not always scrupulous or honest about selling used cars to you. You want to find the value of a car? Go to KBB.com, stands for Kelley Blue Book. These guys have long been the gold standard for estimating the prices of both new and used cars. They've got very specific tools to show you what the true market value of a car is. Autotrader.com is a great place to go search for cars. Cars.com is the same thing. BP is another one that I didn't mention over here. Craigslist, you can find cars in your area. One thing I'd recommend is going to auto dealers, and even though they will try to put pressure on you to buy a car, you can at least test drive cars for free and see if you like them, see how they feel. Take them on the freeway, see how it feels on the freeway or in town, or go to what's called a consignment lot. The largest one of these locally here in Roseville is at Sierra College, the parking lot there at Sierra College. They have tons of cars there. Sometimes they have boats and RVs and everything too. But people will sell their car, and you can actually talk to the owner. You can start the car and hear it and get inside of it, but you can make an appointment with the owner to actually go drive the car if you're interested in buying it. But drive the cars for free at the auto dealers. See if you like it. They have a great selection of used cars, not just new cars. And then you can really find good deals at these consignment lots from private owners like yourself, and you're cutting out the middleman like the automotive dealer. All right. Cars.com, we mentioned them. CarMax is a great place, not just to go, but to shop online, because they guarantee the cars they sell. They guarantee a clean title. That means the car has not been in an accident. If you're finding cars online and it says salvage title, that means the car has been in an accident. And you want to be careful, because you may not know all the damage to the car. Some people are very good at covering up that damage. So clean title is critical. It's tremendously more valuable and will cost more than a car with a salvage title. The other thing about CarMax is the prices are locked. In other words, you don't have to go in and haggle and argue like you do at auto dealers about the price. All right. So at this time, I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to have a separate video for you where I go online and search for 2 common cars for young people in America, and we'll show you what we can find here locally.